Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about retarded shit from TheGamer. The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power has people of color. Get over it. Well, that's it. That's it. He's right. We were wrong all this time. Oh no! God, I hate these retards. You absolute imbecile. They always had people of other races in there. The only difference is that they were located in specific regions. After all, Middle-earth, Tolkien's world, was created based on British mythology and extending up to, well, European myths. For instance, elves were actually based on mostly Germanic people, you know, blondes, tall, white, pristine, but dwindling, almost gone. The dwarves, even the hobbits. Though the hobbits in this case, oh, no, wait. Let me not just go there just yet, because he's going to talk about them in this article, and I don't want to spoil your little fun. Hey, you come here to actually point and laugh at the people in the article, besides pointing and laughing at me as well. Which in this case, I actually like it. It's attention. Anyway, let's go and read. Vanity Fair has published the first official images from The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power this week, and the fans are dissecting every pixel to try and understand exactly how the show is going to look. So far, exactly what we expect, a B-parody, a generic B-parody of a Dungeons & Dragons, or a generic Game of Thrones. Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. The show is going to look, and even going to even had a go at myself, be getting sucked into a Morpheus, Clark's damp, Galadriel, work out whether her armor spells don't canonical controversy on. I don't care! However, the reveals have come some sadly predictable backlash from certain members of the community. People who are actually fans, you imbeciles. As Vanity Fair's new image show, the Amazon series will include people of color. Yes, you people actually manage to contradict Tolkien, and that is absolutely fucking unacceptable. Because let me put it this way. One of the reasons why, at least when people actually cared about Tolkien's IP, was that they should never ever contradict J.R.R. Tolkien, so no race swaps, no adding brothers, sisters, or anybody else to the family line, and things like that. It should never be contradicting Tolkien, but no, as soon as the people who actually cared about it died, the people behind his estate, now they don't care. So the first thing they do is contradict J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, congratulations. They added a sister to a guy who never had a sister. Then they actually race swapped characters because it makes no sense for a dwarf to be black. Yes, imagine this. In evolution, in biology, in the real world, animals that live a long extended period inside caves and, well, where the sun doesn't quite reach, they tend to be albinos, nearly blind, or people who are very, very, very white. And the same thing for the elves. They live mostly inside jungles, behind trees and things like that, so not much time. And yet, race swapped. I find that exceptionally irritating. And then, well, we are gonna get the female, strong female Galadriel, you know, the generic type, which I'm already kind of bored. Anyway, let's go and read. Good people of color, before we get any further, I want to make this clear. Whether you're trolling, gatekeeping, playing out race, or all of the above, you have no place in this fandom. In fact, I'm gonna go right ahead, right here. I want to make myself very, very clear. The person behind this article, we should have gatekept you out of the fandom. You are not welcome here. You want to change things because you're uncomfortable the way Tolkien wrote the story. You're uncomfortable for the facts of the lore. You're uncomfortable for the history behind the creation of the stories in it. You try to grasp, you try to create nonsensical bullshit to try to support your goddamn nonsensical imbecilic ideas that something Tolkien wrote is racist, or that everything that we are criticizing Amazon's B parody of Game of... Oh, sorry. I was gonna say Game of Thrones, but then again, I actually kind of correct. Dungeons and Dragons is justified. No, wait, I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, problem here is you retard. So fucking irritating. And the worst thing is that the people like him are the ones responsible with the idea that orcs somehow represent black people, when in fact that is not truth. Not true, and I've never even seen like that happening anywhere else. Only on racists like the guy who wrote this shitty article, allegedly. I never even linked nowhere in my life, in my brain, with orcs and black people. Never ever done that. And somehow people like the idiot who wrote this article, like, I'm not saying this guy did it, they think that orcs are somehow, yeah, blacks. Ismael Cruz Cordova plays the Fist of Color in an on-screen Tolkien adaptation because it's not canon, it's not lore, it's wrong. And then here we have it. Wait, where was I? Oh, right. Elderly going on to Hobbit or Dwarf, he's now confirmed to be a Sylvan Elf. For the love of God. And one of the story's threads of Rings of Power, we all follow his forbidden relationship with a human, Bronin, who played the British Iranian actress Nazanin Boniadi. British comedian Lenny Henry, who is black, plays a Harfoot, which is canonically, yes, just a white person with a slightly tanner skin. Tolkien was very, very direct and very, 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 very clear in what the hobbits look for. Look how the hobbits look. My English broke. And in fact, the hobbits are not even natives of the Shire. Not even the Harfoots, who they like to claim it's black, but it's not. It was very clear. Suddenly not surprising, the comments are usually rooted in misogyny. Oh, for the love of God. I've seen far more people complaining about Sophia non-vet dwarf Princess Dissa because she is not a dwarf. She doesn't look like a dwarf. Not a dwarf. Jesus Christ. This article is breaking my brain. Plus, she actually should have had a very large beard, not somebody who's suffering from PCOS. We think somebody actually altered the image, include some few strands of beard. In Tolkien's world, dwarf females are actually very similar to dwarf males, to the point that they are so rare that they actually are prized, and they are very, very, very rare, and they are hidden away, so they are protected. They lost a massive opportunity here to actually virtual signal transgender people. I'm surprised, really. I'm very surprised here. They actually didn't go there. Anyway, as Code of Elf for her is Harfoot is also the way that don't care because you people are changing. Fuck's sake. Also, the criticism about hiring non-white actors stems from the premise that Tolkien was trying to create a mythology for Britain. It's a correct premise, you idiot! He returned to the illuminating letter 131, which Professor Tolkien wrote to Milton Waldman. In this, he describes the idea to create a legend for England below Earth is based on the climate and soil of the Northwest, meaning Britain and other parts of Europe. Oh, there you go. Case closed. Why do we still have to actually discuss this nonsense? However, the assumption that all people in this region were white stems from the 19th century white nationalism in Germany. Sorry, it does not. It stems from history. There is no evidence of any people of any color based on Middle Ages that were black. People of different races back then rarely went outside of their own field. Even Arabs were almost all white. The only difference is that you get a brown here and there, but it is very rarely and mostly when you reach far, far into the east where it reaches the Indian continent. These people don't know history. But I'm gonna go and be an asshole and actually go to the article he quoted. Here it is from Time. Wait, supremacists have weaponized the imaginary Viking past. It's time to reclaim real history. I'm not even going to read the other parts, just gonna read here. The term Viking possibly comes from the Old Norse Vikingur, a sea warrior, as Stefan Brink, a new prize of Vikinghood, describes, historically referred to seafaring groups that don't care, colonized around the 10th and 11th century. Here is the thing, there is the gist of it. They never actually found a brown person. Even the Arabs, which are in fact white, they never went to sub-Saharan Africa. Never seen a goddamn fucking black person. And not even a black person back in sub-Saharan Africa ever seen a goddamn fucking white person. Because neither side were actually in communication during that time. Wanna know why? Well, first and foremost, there was a very large, tiny little, just a tiny little, no, two little pickles, but the biggest one, but really, really biggest pickle, they're like a cornichon type of pickle. What's the goddamn fucking Sahara Desert? And then the other tiny little cornichon pickle was the goddamn fucking ocean. We didn't have ships that could actually cross that region properly. These people hate history. These people want to change everything because, guys, it's virtual signaling. Irritating. These people should actually get their PhD dropped or taken back for doing this nonsense. It's pretty clear. History's clear. We have books on it. We actually, look. I have anthropology books over here. It's very clear what people looked like back in those regions. God damn it. Where was I? 11th century, they established several colonies in Mediterranean, Caspian, Black and Arctic and North Atlantic seas, and waterways, maintaining a presence in the region from present-day Russia, Europe to the Americas. Crucially, they were not homogeneous seafarers. They were, as is often imagined, they were multicultural and multiracial. Now, they weren't multicultural. They actually rarely accepted people of other religions in there of multiple cultures. They did not accept. Not a multiracial either. Not until recently, scholarly discussing the Viking relations race in global Middle Ages has been sidelined. God, I fucking hate these people. Goddamn social justice movement are now destroying history too. Because, after all, they are fucking insecure because they cannot accept that the black people actually have their own goddamn fucking cultures. That you people are too afraid to actually go and experience it. Create a show based on the sub-Saharan culture, mythology and things like that. I'm pretty sure you and everybody else will actually enjoy it. Even I would enjoy it because it's something new, something we haven't experienced in the cinema, but now you're too afraid that people are not going to watch it because they are as racist as you are, you retard. Anyway, where was I? Propaganda, Dorothy Kim, and assistant process. I don't think that you should even do goddamn fucking gender studies degrees. Anyway, Tolkien works and free from criticism themselves. The anti-Semitic stereotyping is depiction of dwarves may have been raising with good intentions, but calling Jewish people gifted does not atone for the stereotypes he perpetuated. Yeah, there is a famous letter. Tolkien was always against socialists like Nazis, and it was pretty clear in his goddamn fucking letter. He told them to go fuck themselves, especially the one bald god of the Nazis, Hitler. Himself told him to go fuck himself, and he even praised the Jews. He actually found them great people. I'm paraphrasing here. I forgot the exact word that he used, but he defended them. And meanwhile, we have idiots right here who actually think that dwarves are Jewish people stereotype. I never even thought about it until I read this article. And I have Jewish ancestry. God damn it, these people are goddamn irritating. This is why people like them. People like them is what created Nazi Germany. The only difference now is that instead of going after Jews, they are going after white people. I'm so tired. So tired of it all. Anyway, if you're only okay with actors color appearing as orcs or Easterlings, no, you moron! You're also perpetuating stereotypes that appear in the text of Lord of the Rings. Respect the law. Whether intentional or not, the people of color often represent evil or other. No, it does not. I would recommend reading Tolkien, Race and Cultural History from Fairies to Hobbits by Dr. Dimitri Phoebe from other context. No, don't bother. People like them should have been kept out of this nonsense. But at the end of the day, nothing of the Lord of the Rings needs to be historically accurate. Yeah, you're right. It does not. The guy said it everything. But at the end of the day, nothing in the Lord of the Rings needs to be historically accurate anyway, because it's all made up. It's fantasy world, made believe. Ultimately, if your idea of fantasy includes white people, then you need to be some serious soul searching. Perfect! Nothing stops from having an AK-47 dwarf wielding an AK-47. Nothing stops an elf from having an AR-15. Nothing stops from a human actually having an F-16 flying around and bombing goddamn fucking orcs. Nothing stops from, I don't know, having multiple land battles with Abrams tanks and the orcs having the T-72s. Nothing stops anybody having that. Nothing stops from, I don't know, some people in the middle of actually having iPhones or an Android phone. Guys, look at this elf, isn't he cute? Nothing stops from having that with this goddamn fucking mentality. This is why we should have gatekept these people out of our IPs or hobbies and everything. We should have gatekept them out. If we had done that, we wouldn't be having an article reading like this. Son of a goddamn fucking bitch. And this is the second time I actually have to deal with absolute retardness today. And this is not the first time that I'm actually doing a nearly 20 minutes video about some goddamn filthy retard trying to mess with Tolkien's IP. Tolkien had a vision, but it was a vision that he wanted to fill in the blanks, as he says in letter. I can't. However, I think it's worth saying that anyone that's missing the series detractors and not real fans are not part of this fandom are missing the point. You're not part of this fandom, you're not a real fan. I don't care if first name a bunch of numbers on Twitter made their racist account 12 days ago, they are still part of this fandom, they are a problem with it. You're a part of the problem, you little shit. Relegating them to real fans and misses the problem within and the fan days without dealing with it. They are racist Lord of the Rings fans and we just need to make sure they are unwelcome in our communities. Isn't it fascinating? We were there way before you. Way before you. And we let you in. And now you're kicking us out because we are not real fans. And you are, go suck a cock and choke on it, you little shit. Oh god, there's more! I'm getting so goddamn tired. I'm just going to glance over it. In the Weber, the Rings of Power executive producer addresses the controversies of hiring actors of color. A Vanity article saying it felt only natural for us to do an adaptation of Tolkien's world that would actually reflect what the world actually looks like. Well, that's fascinating, but Middle-earth is not how the world actually looks like. Plus, and I'm gonna go on a limb here, very on a limb here, Middle Ages actually didn't look like the world today. Fascinating, isn't it? Even ancient Egypt didn't actually look like Egypt of today. Tolkien is for everyone. Yeah, sure, but your people are actually trying to change his work because your people are insane. His stories are about fictional races doing their best work when they leave the isolation of their own cultures and come together. Exactly. And guess what happened during the Middle Ages? Cultures were isolated because, well, as you don't know, the internet didn't exist back then. Airplanes didn't exist back then. I I know it's earth-shattering information to idiots like the guy who wrote this article. But distances were real things, were very, very, very problematic, and people were very, very isolated. It's shattering information. Fascinating, isn't it? The world! We didn't even know the world extended far beyond the borders that, like Europe or Northern Africa, or things like that back then. It's shattering information, I know. And here is where the races and gatekeepers really come undone. Really? How? I'm curious. Now I'm curious. Let's see what this idiot says. If you read Lord of the Rings, or any of his works, like really read beyond the fact that he once points out that elf has pale skin or whatever. Oh, right, you're reading between the lines. These are stories about people of different races overcoming their differences and working together for a common cause. Exactly! You're trying to change all of that. Yes, you are actually trying to change that that story, that thing, which is something I also added on my book. You're trying to change all of that for diversity's sake. You're actually trying to change that part of the lesson of the story that Tolkien wrote on his book because you're too triggered. This is never more apparent than with the relationship between Legolas and Gimli, who begin their fellowship bickering and treating one another with genuine hatred based on their race alone. Exactly. And that's exactly what you're doing right here. You're actually trying to change that. With your current Amazon Rings of Power, that dynamic, that animosity from the beginning, that then creates a massive friendship between the two of them, is now meaningless. It's meaningless. God damn it. Should have been gate-kept out. We all know all it ends with the pair traveling around the Middle Earth together after the events of the Lord of the Rings are over, sharing their cultures. Gimli becomes the first wolf to go to the Undying Lands. The two have been presented as white in all adaptations to date. Why can't we treat each other with the same respect? Because you're trying to... The backlash from the cast of the Rings of Power reminds me of something Sir Ian McKellen wrote on his website at the time he started Gandalf in Lord of the Rings about the abuse he receives as a gay man. Yeah, and as far as I remember, I think there is only... No, really, I don't remember a single comment or a single message or anything at all from the fans back then, and I was very active on the internet when the movies were being released or talked about, or even being shot, you know, when it was still being made. I never even remember reading any single comment criticizing Sir Ian McKellen being gay. But obviously he received criticism for back in the day, but not on roles related to Lord of the Rings. Anyway, here's what he said. It was unsurprising that an uncensored internet should recently criticize my casting as Gandalf in homophobic terms, he writes. Cranky anti-gay remarks in chat rooms reminded me of verbal abuse in the playground, not that they didn't hurt too, but unthinking people just don't like the idea of gays joining their games, or in the military, and it would seem in the movies. Yeah, that was, I think he's mentioning one single article of one group of people who actually had problem with it, but mostly nobody actually cared that he was gay, and I still don't care, because the person you choose to fuck with in real life has no bearing or any logic behind the character that you are playing on the goddamn movie or TV show. For instance, I think I forgot the name of the actor, but the actor who plays Niles Crane from Frasier, he is gay, and he is one of my favorite characters in there, in the show. I don't care he's gay. And this guy here, the person who wrote this article, is trying to make something of a thing that I should care, but I don't. I don't care who you fuck in real life. I don't care. I don't care about your politics in real life once you go play a character in a TV show or a movie. I don't care. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care who you choose to vote for. I don't care who you believe or what you believe. As long as the character you're portraying on the TV represents the actual original character, or portraying the character correctly or doing properly. I don't care. I don't care about that at all. Insane. Anyway, last paragraph. As fans try to gatekeep Ian McKellen from films, now they're subjecting new actors to abuse for the color of their skin. The world may be more progressive 20 years on, but some people refuse to change and are stuck in racist, sexist, homophobic mindsets. So it's on us to make everyone feel welcome in this community, no matter the color of their skin, and going into the rings of power with an open mind. Nope, I'm not even going to watch this fucking parody from Game of... Oh, once again, I'm comparing it to Game of Thrones, because that's exactly what it is. It's a generic parody of Game of Thrones for Amazon. It's an expensive parody. I will even say Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a disaster. Anyway, this video is long enough, so on that goddamn fucking hell, have a great fucking night, because the only thing that this nonsensical Amazon TV show is going to bring for me is content for my channel. Anyway, have a great fucking night.